Welcome to Colonize the Ocean podcast, where we discuss oceanic colonization, exploration, and education with your hosts Adam Jewell and Brendan Traxler.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's been over a month since we've been in here, which is totally my fault. I was like, it hasn't been that long. And I went back looking at past recordings, like, holy cow, we didn't do anything in June. And I guess June was just a whirlwind of a month anyway. But babe,
yeah,
welcome back. It's been over a month, obviously. So how's it going with you?
Well, it's been busy, just like you. And in fact, you said that, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, wasn't it the beginning of June we did our last one? So apparently not, because I didn't look back.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. We didn't do anything in June.
I'll be dang.
That's what I thought too. Yep. So we are well past a ripe date to be in here doing live streams. And Adam is not with us tonight. I know he had some stuff going on, so he wasn't even able to make it tonight. So it's the summer. It's a hectic time. I get that. You know, I don't expect there to be tons of people even watching right now, but that's why we do this. It's on recording. It gets broke up into small bites that you can consume on TikTok, you know, wherever you get your information from. But that's what we're doing here. So, babe, since you are the bigger diver of the two of us, since I never dive, even though I should, but has your summer been full of scuba dreams?
Scuba dreams, absolutely.
But are you going to be doing any scuba diving anytime soon?
Soon enough. My dive buddy and we just talked about planning something local, and local is about, I don't know, roughly an hour away. There's a quarry, and it's set up for diving. It's it's an RV campground, and they kind of multitask with a bunch of things in it. And diving, they've got some planes and trucks and stuff sunk in that place. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
How deep is that one?
The deepest point is between 55 and 60 feet. I think it's right around 56 or 58 feet is the deep point. Cool.
Yeah, nice. And coincidentally, Babe is what's the word I'm looking for? When you're talking about something that's going to happen in the future, not prophesying, but in like a book or a movie, that you're giving away the events that are going to transpire here. Anyway, that's kind of what Babe is doing here now with the rest of this video or this live stream tonight. But we, you know, just because we haven't been here for a month and done a live stream and stuff like that, there has been a lot going on behind the scenes. And I'm going to hop into that, and we're going to talk about some of this stuff. First off, Brian, thank you as always for being here, supporting us, saying hey. I do appreciate you, and thank you. And hopefully you're sticking around. If not, because you are a Patreon member, I'll be putting some stuff in the Patreon about what's going on as well here. But to start off, one thing that, you know, Adam makes fun of me about is the website, because I'm always changing it. I'm always switching it up, and I'm never happy with it. So I figured, because I'm never happy with it, because I'm a perfectionist with that kind of stuff, I'm never happy with, I'm just going to hire somebody to do it this time. So I hired somebody to do our website. So we have a new refreshed website. It is up. There's a couple of things that need to be changed on there, but for the most part, it is, and not like visually changed, just some links are broken, stuff like that needs to be fixed, and some updated verbiage. But as far as the general concept of the website, it has been updated to a new fresh look to coincide with the revitalized vision, the future of ASC and stuff along those lines. So AtlantisSeaColony.com obviously is the website, and definitely check that out. I think Babe might be doing that right now as we speak.
I am doing that. You said something about the couple days ago, and I got so busy at work I forgot about it. I was like,
and you got to see a preview of this, an image of it before it got up and running. But now I like when you click on the different pages at the heading at the top and stuff like that. It's really cool. I like it. It's a fresh new look on the website. I'm excited about it. So there's that. But coinciding with the website, one of the other things we do is the podcast, the Colonize the Ocean podcast. I got an email the other day, and I don't check the numbers. I mean, I check how many people are viewing it or downloading and stuff along those lines, and it seems to be a pretty steady amount of people that do. And it's very niche what we do, but I got contacted by this group. It's called the Million Podcasts, and according to them, they're a ranking system for podcasts and stuff like that. And here's their link. But in the oceanography podcast group, Colonize the Ocean qualified in the 16th place out of the top 25 on their ranking there. So with some of the ones that I subscribe to and listen to on there were on there as well. So take it for what it is. People are listening, and that's all that matters. But if you don't subscribe, follow, like whatever it is in podcast to it. I put a couple out of the week. Every Monday there's a short that goes out. Usually especially if we're doing a live stream, it's a little teaser about what we're talking about. Otherwise, it's just general information about different things. And then there's an AI-based one every Friday. And then obviously when we do like a live stream, I turn it into a podcast and stuff too. So there's almost multiple podcasts a week that go out. So go over and check that out if you would. That'd be awesome. And yeah, that's cool. Other news that's been going on, which is I just got notification on this week. So I talked about this back in March, I think, February, March, or something along those lines. So every year there's two big dive scuba underwater conventions. One's DEMA, which is actually is it in Orlando this year? Or is it in Vegas? I can't remember. Anyway, we're not talking about that one. The other one is Underwater Intervention, which is always in New Orleans, which if people don't know, that's only like 3 hours from where I'm at. So it's an easy one I go to every year. A couple of years ago, they partnered with Workboat. So it's become this giant one where it's huge. It's honestly about the same size as DEMA now because of that. And they usually hold it the same place when it's in New Orleans. Regardless, the news is that I will be speaking this year at the Underwater Intervention. So there's the website for it. It looks like it's December 3rd through the 5th. And I'm speaking on the 5th, which is a Friday. I think it says like 10:15 in the morning. So that's what's going on. I'm talking about, the advent of underwater habitats in a blue economy and a blue revolution and stuff along those lines. So that's what I need to, honestly, I didn't think they'd accept me. So I was kind of surprised when I got the thing back. So now I got to work on my speech and get that ready. Yeah. Even though it's still like 5 months away, it'll be here before I know it type of thing too. So that's coming up. So that's exciting. I was supposed to, honestly, it's nice because I was supposed to speak at a space convention back in 2020, but then COVID hit and it shut everything down. So I didn't get to speak then. So this will be the first time actually doing a public speaking in front of a bunch of people for ASC that I've been able to do, short of different Zoom calls and conventions and stuff I've done online, which I did that one with Sylvia Earle and Jan Koblik and stuff like that a couple of years ago too. So that'll be cool. I'm excited about that. That'll be fun. Hopefully get some eyes on ASC and what we're trying to do around here. And who knows what that's going to be. So that's coming up as well. But anyway, the last thing I had to talk about wasn't really ASC related, but because they're friends of the show and we've done a lot with them, is ArcPad. I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Mitchell over there, they've launched their floating, it's glamping. It's basically floating tents, but they also a big thing on the environment with fishing and all that kind of stuff. So that's something that, we're excited about. We just love to see these other startups actually thrive and grow. We got Ocean Builders, and then we got ArcPad. So yeah, all these different people they're working on this type of thing in this ocean community, seasteading community as well. So exciting stuff. Glad to see it. And I hope them all the success over there. They're actually over in the Philippines, so not anywhere near us or anything like that, but it may be near you, depending on where you're watching at this point in time too. Anything you want to throw in on that news there, babe?
Well, couple things, but not really related, but it is. That's just there's a couple doctors I work with, and they just went diving in the Philippines and got
Oh,
back.
really?
And oh yeah, they were showing me pictures and stuff, but they had a good time.
I say it's supposedly. I mean, I've seen in Skin Never magazine and all that kind of stuff over the years. It's gorgeous over there, the water and stuff.
You go back to the Colonize the Ocean,
the
podcast. I wish now I'd wrote the stuff down, but there's been a couple of them now. The stuff I learned stuff from it, and here just because we talk about everything so much, I figured, and I've been learning stuff from the ones you've been doing, the articles, a lot of the articles.
Yeah. So if anybody, the AI ones, I'm assuming you're talking about the AI ones.
Yeah.
Most of those are, either I'll pull a bunch of different, because I'll give away the secret sauce here. I use Notebook LM, the Google Notebook LM to do them, which I mean, everybody's using that now these days. But you can drop multiple articles in there. You can drop a YouTube video and you can drop a website in there. Source all the information and create a podcast out of it. So simple. So, I mean, it takes literally no time. It takes more time of me posting and writing a copy and hashtags on it does to produce the podcast. But because of that, I'm always looking for new ideas and stuff like that, or articles and stuff to throw in there to create podcasts on stuff too. So fortunately, there are companies out there like Deep who have been producing tons of content that it makes for great podcasts sometimes too. So we have cited them multiple times on there as far as that information and stuff goes too. So there's that.
That's one of the interesting things. Now it's going to irritate me. Like I said, I should have wrote that stuff down. The auto holding group that's involved.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember their name.
Yep.
But it Dodge, Chrysler, Peugeot,
Stellantis.
Yeah. That's it. So because there's so many people, and it's always been my understanding Peugeot was started by, I want to say it was pilots. Like they set up the inside.
Something like that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, and because one of my favorite things years ago was when I was a teenager, working at a place we dealt with a lot of cars, is sending a new guide out that had no clue, and in America, like usually our key when it was key start on the right side of the column. Well, it was in the center console between the seats where your ignition would be, and of course they didn't know how to start the car, so we always got a good big laugh out of it. Not Underwater related, but it surprised me to know that group was doing so much, or was so involved in the designing for the interior of underwater habitat stuff. Yeah.
It's one of those things where, I think I've talked about it in one of the shorts or something along those lines. Is you just don't know who's involved with what, and it's constantly communicating and even cross networking with people who aren't even in your wheelhouse there, but it's all about who you know, and they may have connections, and you don't know. Maybe it's somebody that we would never think was interested in underwater anything, and all of a sudden they may be like, "Oh yeah, I've been fascinated about that. I just it's always been a dream of mine," type of thing. And I've ran into that in the past too. So yeah, you just don't know. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, it's because I hadn't heard a lot about Under the Pole. I follow them. So I'd see their stuff every once in a while. So it really surprised me when I found out Stellantis and Under the Pole were working together to design stuff like that. That's really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
News to me as well.
Yeah. Well.
And actually, I got that article from some seasteaders. They had a group with them, and they had posted something about it. So that's where I found out about that whole thing. But anyway, so today, whenever you listen to this, I'm going to just say tonight because it's easier for me. We're going to talk first off just a little about the history of ASC, and I want to go over that a little bit about where ASC came from. I've talked about this before in the past, so to some of you this may just be old news, but to anybody that may be newer to ASC or what we're trying to do here, I just want to go over that a little bit. So ASC started, as a dream of mine back in high school, pre-internet, all that kind of stuff. It was like, hey, I grew up on Jacques Cousteau, watching his stuff, PBS, And then in the mid 90s, the TV show Sequest came out, and that kind of like revitalized the whole thing about, hey, why can't we make this happen type of thing. So it started getting me drawing. It got me dreaming, got me thinking about things. I say it was a God moment where, all the name came to me, the vision came to me that, we got to make living underwater seamless for everybody, and it has to be one atmosphere. And those were the core components of it, that one atmosphere, living underwater is just as seamless as anything else. So the very first design was something more along these lines. And I don't have the detailed drawings on some of these anymore. They were like hand drawn back in like the early 2000s or late 90s and stuff along those lines. But the idea that it was a giant sphere. The circle in the middle was basically a docking area where a submarine could go in and dock. And so it was just a giant sphere that you could live in. And actually those legs coming off also served as tunnels, like stairwells almost down to other little pods. But it was more sci-fi fantasy look than anything. It was the beginning of all this that then led to a more simplified one. And actually started building I was in a drafting class in high school, and we actually had to build what we drafted out. And so I started building this one, but I didn't get it done in the time that nobody got their stuff done, but I didn't get mine done either. So this was a much smaller one for like a mini sub, and it has a little glass dome, and it's like, I think a 1 or 2 person house that, is in that thing. So shrunking it down, trying to make it a little bit more manageable. And then we moved on to, I said, you know what, forget the manageable thing. Let's go giant again. And so this was, again, going giant with it, looking more at what space was doing with docking collars and stuff along those lines, where, again, a submarine goes in the middle there, and then it docks on each side, and you're able to go into, and this was more idea of like a hotel when I started getting more of the hotel thing. So you could go on either side of that, and there was like, I can't remember how many rooms were on each side of that. And so, again, about that time, I started realizing that, this is fun and fanciful and stuff along those lines, but we need to be realistic about what we're doing. Nobody's going to shell out the $1 billion or the $500 million or whatever it's going to take to build these. So let's actually start looking at what's realistic and what has been done in the past, and start trying to mirror that or work within those confines. So this one, obviously this image doesn't do justice, but it was very modular. There's a bunch of modular attachments on there, but still it is ginormous. And the cost, again, became an issue. And this is more of a, here's the end vision of what ASC would be, which was a modular, each one was almost like a suite. And I think on that one, there was, 8 suites per side. So it wasn't as big, but it is. And I've been trying to find some of these old images, and like this one, I know I actually have some renders on this one that I can show off. And I may put up on social media here over the next few days as the history of ASC to show some of this stuff. And then there's this one here that was never really in the line of that. This is more like a saturation station that I had designed, where you can see on the top, there's a access hatch there, plus you could access underneath, and they're just small spheres that you could get in there. And it was just more fun design idea more than anything, more of a blue collar style living, but did not fit within the ASC ecosystem as I saw. And then the most recent one was about 5 or 6 years ago, was this design here. I think most people who have come onto ASC came in this era here, where this was the actual one that I sat down over in Houston with an engineering firm and said, here's what ASC wants to do, and here's what we're looking at doing. And this was very much this is a cost-effective path. This is a modular approach. And it was the precursor to where we're at now with ASC. This was still had elements in it that I was trying to incorporate too much too early on, instead of laying the foundation of where we're at now. So then we're up to our current designs, which you can check out on the website and stuff. But that was the history of how we got from where we were in the late 90s to where we are now in the mid 2020s as far as design goes. And with the current designs, we've got two different ones, but really the one we're focusing on is more of a very shallow atmosphere design that is basically just and Baby Me. Sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts in line here, how I want to put this out here, but it's a shallow design for 20, 30 foot underwater at the max, to be set in a shallow area for divers, for people, from whoever wants to go down there. Very similar to what they do over at Jules is kind of the concept on that. But the idea was to make it much more modern with larger windows, more modern windows, make it an approach that there was a seamless approach from what you're used to in your hotel room or your Airbnb here on land to what you would have underwater. And so that was a lot of the design elements around it. And ASC over the years has been focused on, different locations around the world, looking at, whether it be Belize or Honduras or Florida and stuff along those lines. But one thing and this was actually Adam's comment a couple of years ago, I think it was looking at putting it in like Lake Tahoe or some other lake here in the United States. And I wasn't a huge fan of that because I felt like it really took away from the essence of who ASC was and what we were trying to achieve here, even though at the same time I was stripping ASC back to a more modular, foundation approach of let's make it a building block to grow the business and grow underwater habitats off of, because everybody is out there with these underwater habitats that are these giant things. You look at Deep, or you look at Cousteau and Proteus, and Planet Ocean Underwater Hotel or Poseidon, or all these giant underwater that are $300-500 million underwater habitats, and they're not feasible to raise that kind of money with. So let's start a very simple foundation, a rough starting point, and build from there, proof of concept, and go from there. So that's kind of what ASC started doing, is pulling back and designing like that. And so that's kind of where we're at today. So then, based off Adam's information or his comments that I didn't care for at the time, and I let him know that I didn't care for him, but looking at it, we got to the point where we are now, and that's why ASC has pivoted a little bit, and we're starting to focus more on the dive community first and foremost here in the United States. And what that looks like is quarries and lakes and stuff along those lines. It's obviously more freshwater, but it allows us to have a controlled environment to test these technologies on. It allows us to bypass some of these regulations that we normally have to deal with going into the ocean. Also, we don't have to deal with tidal concerns and other types of weather phenomenon that we're dealing with off the coast. So it allows us to proof of concept out while growing it by putting multiple habitats, hopefully in different, quarries and freshwater places around the United States, to build a brand and perfect this technology that then we can easily take that from here and move it into the ocean or whatever. And so that's kind of where ASC is at this point in time. That's why the redesign of the website was important, to give it that new feel and that new focus, so that as I'm starting to talk to these quarries and these dive locations and stuff along those lines, we've got a look and a feel that coincide with what we're trying to do. So that's a really, 10-minute history and up-to-date concept of who ASC is, what we're focused on. Through all that, we're still focused on single atmosphere underwater habitats, designed for everyday use for anybody who wants to visit it. Obviously, at first, it will probably be only accessible via scuba, even though there are designs that we worked on, that you could have a stairwell that goes down to it, and those are on the website. So we've got all that. With that being said, Baby and me were talking about this before, and what were you saying about? We were talking about quarries and stuff beforehand.
So many quarries will deal with a local group of divers or rescue divers, training. So whether it's a club or a shop or like I said, rescue diver units, they usually will provide some kind of a platform and stuff in the water, which, then that's their cost to build all that, for people to come and train there. So does that make sense? Have you ever seen the platform sunk It's like a big deck underwater, as that usually is what it is.
Yeah, and actually, I got a story about one of those platforms. It was the first time had just gotten certified. I was doing my first water dive outside the pool, and we went down. I think it was probably 30 feet underwater. Maybe it wasn't that deep. It felt like it was. I remember going down there. I was one of the first people out of going backwards off the boat into the thing. Was laying down on those platforms, just like looking up at the surface at the boat and all the people up there. And it was just like the light coming through and the pressure of the water. It was like the most peace I've ever felt in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And it was just like euphoria of like laying there. And it's like, this is it. I mean, this is amazing. And I want everybody to experience, this peace, the quiet and the, it just felt great. So, But yes, to your point. Yeah. 100%. And so that's one of the things is, we don't have to, and we've talked about this before, that ASC does not have to be a purely livable experience, that the habitat can become a platform, not only a platform in the sense of the terminology that it's a launching place for other stuff, but also a physical platform for divers to go down onto. We can use it to strap cameras onto it or other sensors and stuff along those lines, and use it for a live stream platform for whatever. But more so than anything, it's, we see it as a symbiotic relationship with these potential underwater these scuba locations as a draw for them from a business standpoint too. Obviously we look at it as a proof of concept, testing out the technologies and to grow the brand that is ASC. But in the same time, we are offering an experience that, unless you're wanting to go to Jules and drive down to Florida, down to the Keys to go do, we can offer the same or a similar experience at a quarry much closer to you, anywhere in the United States.
Yeah. I'm farther north. You got the cold, but there's so many clubs and groups that go ice diving.
Yep.
It's like it'll still be there.
Yep.
So and of course with the cooler water, it's clearer also. So that's a draw. But to the point of the business, the symbiotic, I've been to so many quarries now, and I'm not going to mention any names.
Sure.
I enjoyed them all because I make a point to enjoy them all. It's like, I'm here to dive. I'm here to have fun.
Right.
And so unless there's something stupid happens, but otherwise, it's just, so I'm not bad talking, but you can tell that some of them, they're not in their heyday anymore. I'll put it that way. That their prime has passed, but having something like this to draw again, to bring people in, I think that would be a good thing for a lot of quarries.
Mm-hmm.
And, just like you were saying ahead of the live stream, how you've been getting notices for more and more different dive sites. I've seen more and more quarries where people bought a quarry and did this with it, open up a dive place. So in itself isn't a dying thing. It's just not all of them still have the draw, where if you add something like this that would be new and different and have a longevity to it, just like Jules.
And I know that a lot of people aren't going to be as excited about an underwater habitat in a quarry because again, you don't have the coral reefs or the tropical fish and stuff like that a lot of people are wanting. And trust me, I get it. That's why I was so against it when Adam first said it to you. I was like, absolutely no, don't even talk to me about this. Nope, I hate the idea. We're not doing that type of thing. But it's a means to an end, and it is a way that we can work with the scuba community, which is a ginormous community here in the United States, to work with them to proof this out, so that we can have a solid working design and a community behind us to be able to move this into saltwater, into different locations, and to have this. So we're not testing a habitat that could potentially kill you if not done right, into a more volatile environment, which is the ocean. So that's part of why this felt like a better move. And I believe it can be a more cost-effective move too, because again, like I said, we're not have to deal with regulations. We're doing freshwater versus saltwater, which is not as corrosive as well. And so yeah, that's kind of where we're at with all this at this point in time. And like I said, I think that there are those communities. Colorado, for example, is one of the largest dive communities in the United States. Crazy, why Colorado of all places?
I really do know.
Yeah, right now they're going to have to fly to Florida, clear across the United States to have this experience. Yep. Why can't we move something a little bit closer to them and give them this opportunity? If nothing more, what a way to get certified for the first time and be able to finish your stay as getting certified at an underwater habitat in a quarry near you.
Yep. That was, just to add to that, because that's my back when it's been some years ago, quite a few years. Holy cow, it's been that long. My advanced, so I got my advanced certification. You have open water, then you have your advanced, whatever version of it is. So it's my advanced water, and my advanced ended at the start of my stay at Jules.
Nice.
From here on out, I got you're now an advanced diver. You're not allowed to go to the surface for 24 hours, So nice. Yes, that was awesome.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the renewed vision and the focus for ASC right now is to start working. Obviously social media is a powerful source, and this will be split up and put out there for everybody. Tag your local dive community, your local dive store, your local quarry, your local dive location. Tag them in this, show them this, because we want to start talking to them. Are we ready to put something in the water right now? We can be. It's one of those things where if we've got some people, they're interested and we're able to communicate and work out something, ASD can start moving forward and start doing this stuff. And that's where we're at this. And so I'm excited, and I hope that everybody that's watching this, our Patreon members, our Discord members, our just people who have been following us and stuff like that, are excited about this and spread the news. But do you have anything else you want to add to that there, babe?
Not that I can think of.
Well, okay then. So since Adam's not here and usually brings a bunch of nonsense and who else wants, which usually makes this a whole lot longer because of his comments, we are going to be able to keep this well under an hour tonight too. So that's something nice and exciting. So there have been no comments or questions on here tonight. So we'll be able to get us out of here pretty quick here. But I do want to go over some house cleaning, stuff like that. Obviously, as you saw, I was drinking from the One Atmosphere Living mug. So there are those for sale, our oneatmliving.com. As I said earlier, we do have a Discord. We actually, right before we went live, we had new members join our Discord community. So that's a great opportunity for people to hop in there and talk to different people just that love ocean stuff. It doesn't have to be underwater habitat, because there's people in there talking about all different types of stuff. A lot of times not related at all to underwater stuff at all, but there's some crazy conversations that go on in there. I kind of avoid it anymore because sometimes it gets a little crazy in there, but maybe that's your cup of tea. If not, we do have a Patreon. You can join for free. There is a free tier. Even though I said I was going to do it, I forgot to do it. Didn't forget to, I just haven't got around to do it. We do try to do a weekly poll in there, which I need to get put back in there because I've been lax a couple of weeks. I will try to do this as soon as we get off here tonight, get this posted on there. But yeah, there is a free tier. You can hop in there, take care of the polls, do the polls, all that kind of stuff. There's $1. There's multiple different tiers in there. You can, if you want to subscribe and help us out, especially as we're moving forward on this. To make this happen, we're probably gonna have to make some trips to some of these quarries and shake hands and talk to people and stuff along those lines. So any funds that come in will definitely hopefully help towards that. If right now anything that's coming is basically business stuff for paying for subscriptions to this, doing live streams and some of the tools we do for social media and stuff along those lines. So that's kind of where your money is going at this point in time. I try to be very transparent about that because I do value your time and your money by doing that. So that being said, those who have pledged money to us are the following: Brian, who's in here at the very beginning, Martin, Babe, Adam, my father. So those, Ron, I guess let me say his name, Ron. They're all ones that contribute monthly to us. And then we have some free members in there. We got 6 different free members in here that are, able to take place in that. There is a community in there where you can chat and stuff as well. We don't have as much activity in there as we do Discord. Hopefully, we'd like to see that change here in the new future. But for right now, that's what's going on. As always, now that we have that up there, our social media is on the website. I think, yeah, it should be. It is. I don't know if it's on the new one, but anyway, if not, it will be soon. But we're on everywhere for the most part. TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. Really, Facebook is the main one. I think most people are there. We seem to get our most response there. TikTok, we're starting to get a little bit more activity there, and YouTube. Those are the big 3 really that we get the most from. So there, you can hit us up on X. I'm on X a lot as well. So those are the different ways that you can support ASC in different ways, whether it's just liking and sharing and subscribing, or all the way down to becoming a Patreon member or buying merch through the website or One Atmosphere Living or whatever. So with that being said, guys, yes, please.
Sorry.
No. I was going to toss it over to you anyway.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, it's been a professional podcast, so I don't want to take away from that. But at the same time, we've talked about this stuff before. I saw the newest trailer, I guess, or it said it was gameplay for the new Subnautica.
Oh.
And it looks great, but I was more than a little ticked off when it said they put it out for another year now. Like it's now beginning of 2026, or I guess a half a year now, but beginning 2026 now instead of beginning 2025. Because I was like, what happened? And I know there was a shakeup, and I don't want to get into all that, and I don't want to, because I have no part of that. So it's just, I enjoy the game, and that's all I take it as.
And the crazy thing is, talking about Subnautica, I saw you can get on your phone now too.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. I saw it pop up in the game store the other day when I was on there on my phone. I was like, what? But I don't think it would do it justice playing it on your phone versus a game like that. Yeah. But regardless, I can't wait for it to release. I will definitely be getting it. Maybe we'll have to do like a group live stream or something like that of us playing Subnautica for the first time or something like that.
Yeah, since it's multiplayer.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Great. Yeah.
So anybody out there is into the game or hasn't played it, I definitely encourage you, especially if you're into underwater stuff like that. It's a beautiful game. It's fun to play. You can build your own underwater habitats in it, which is also pretty cool. So.
That's my spiel, because I was really excited to see that. And find out it's not till another 6 to 8 months. I was like, no.
Oh well, it'll be your late Christmas gift, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Babe, for taking time out of your day to join me on this live stream and talk about these things that I know that, especially when it comes to dive community and the quarries and stuff like that, is near dear to your heart.
Yes.
But no, thank you very much. And thank you to everybody out there. We'll talk to you guys next time.